Welcome to techCast, the podcast that quenches curiosity, powered by Q&A Markham. techCast, where we deep dive into the exciting world of technology, bringing you the latest trends, innovations, and thought-provoking discussions. Join us on this exciting journey as we explore the boundless possibilities of technology.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum.
Today is a special day.
Thank
we
you.
are hosting Mr. Othman Al Akkad.
Thank you.
I guess it's not the first time you've been in this region.
Yeah.
Even though you are from Syria, but you do have an idea about how is the summer look like.
Definitely. It's quite hot here.
Welcome to the podcast from Q&A,
Thank you.
and welcome Ejabi Infosec to our region as well our environment.
Thank you.
And hopefully the success stories will be start over from this mainland.
Inshallah.
All the best for you. Othman, first of all, if you would like to introduce yourself
Thank you.
and a little background about your childhood and the information technology in general,
Yeah.
and some part of the education.
Thank you, Dr. Hamad, for this opportunity of speaking. I'm Othman Al Akkad, the Vice President of Technology at Ejabi Infosec, PCI assessor, leading and cybersecurity firm, headquartered in Dubai. I hold bachelor degree in artificial intelligence engineering, and I've been fortunate to join the information security business for years. We started in Iraq, and now we are here in Dubai. We have our firm here established, and I'm thrilled here to join this podcast. Myself, as a person who tried to be a part of the information security community, I pursued some professional certificate for protecting cardholder data, like a PCI Qualified Security Assessor, PCI Card Production Security Assessor, PCI Pen Security, beside of being Information Security Management System Lead Auditor and Lead Implementer. So thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. So perhaps you had a story from your school experience that happened to your credit card, and this is why you start going deep into this field.
Not really, but the story started in Iraq due some the need of the PCI industry there. We start pursuing this business, and the need of the market were led Ejabi to be accredited by the PCI Council, to be the first company then in Iraq who hold this accreditation, and now we are, I think, the only Emirati company who hold this privilege. Thanks God.
MashaAllah.
Thank you.
I guess you do have some unique items and unique story.
Yeah.
So talking, not exactly going to ask you about your cybersecurity experience, but more talking about the Ejabi word. And Ejabi word in Arab language or Arabic language, it means the positive.
Yes, correct.
So how does you have Ejabi as an information security topics or name for this company, but behind the scene you are talking about cybersecurity and the risk and the challenges, vulnerabilities, all that the end users has to deal with, and most of the users are always afraid of taking this risk.
Yes, definitely. So the idea of Ejabi came in order to change the perspective of the information security. So we don't scare clients.
So just make them feel safe and secure
no,
from Ejabi.
We make them safe and secure. We don't make them feel they are safe and secure. So the target for our company is that compliance is not just a security, and security is not just a compliance. So they are two faces for one coin. So in order to fulfill a proper compliance, you have to be secure. And in order to have a proper security, you should follow the compliance. So it will guide you to have the proper setup as it is stated by the international standards.
So we can say that this is the vision of the company itself
Yes.
or the message.
Yes.
But behind the scene, there are more visions that you are working.
Yeah. Our ultimate target is to enhance the community maturity against information security. So wherever we go, we ensure that people get trained well, informed well, get the proper information. Sometimes we trigger some initiative, like doing some campaigns, some webinars, just for people to get used to the information security and the cyberspace.
So I guess this is one of the wonderful sentences that you are talking about, the initiatives, the workshops, teaching people and the new and the next generation how to deal with the cybersecurity and the information security in general, just to protect themselves, enhance their lifestyle as well, since everybody is using the digital world at the moment.
Definitely.
And I guess not even in Iraq, Baghdad, I guess most of the companies are moving into the digital transformation.
Even governments.
Economy.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, that would be something I would say as the message of Ejabi
Yes.
Infosec.
So we always encourage to invest in people awareness rather than just bringing the security solutions that sometimes company does not use. Just placing the solution is not the proper option if we don't have a very mature, aware staff and aware community.
Yeah, so you do have the full life cycle where starting from the awareness, teaching
Definitely.
the audience, the people, everybody, and then provide them with all these technology that would support and protect their privacy.
Definitely.
Thank you. This is a wonderful introduction, I guess.
Thank you, Dr. Hamad.
Let's go deep now into your field and discover who you are, Othman, from your experience and the knowledge that you do have. That gives you the value to be part of Ejabi Infosec. Social engineering and cybersecurity has some related items and connections. What's your thought and your input into this topic?
Okay. So first of all, social engineering is part of cybersecurity attacks. So today we are talking about a cybersecurity attack that does not target the technical asset. We are talking today about an attacks that target the psychology and uses individual behavior to trick people to do some activities that sometimes undermine security or let's say try to gain access for sensitive and confidential information that it should not be revealed for unauthorized people. So the techniques here does not penetrate the system technical vulnerabilities rather than penetrate the human weakness like trust, curiosity, fear, or ignorance sometimes.
Indeed. So you are talking about psychology,
Yes.
science,
Yeah.
and at some point there is some connection also between the psychologist, science, and social engineering.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we need to start if we are talking about Ejabi Infosec, how do you guys start talking about psychology, science, and the environment when you are only an IT company?
Yeah, so when you are talking about these social engineering attack that penetrates the psychology of the end client or the individuals who are the target or let's say the victim as defined in most of the references of social engineering books or white papers, the ultimate goal is to make the community and these, let's say, victims aware that their information is their own, their data is their own, their asset is their own. So as long as we make the people understand that this data is confidential and sensitive and it should not be shared even with sometimes support or IT companies or call center of some banks. So increasing this maturity will make the psychological status of the person is more strong, by showing the proper use cases, by showing the proper examples, they will be aware and be able to identify if this is really a cyber attack or social engineering attack, so they can report it later for the required authorities.
Wonderful. I guess you do have more knowledge than social engineer.
Thank you.
Any experience, any stories, any examples that you would like to share today with our audience?
Personally, I have not faced any, but from my experience in the market, in the Levant market, I have seen many use cases about social engineering. Sometimes depends on the attack that they can. So if we want to go through the attacks of social engineering, there are many. So for example, if we are talking about phishing, phishing is technique that the attacker send a malicious email in the name of, could be a very well-known bank or financial institution, for their clients, asking them to click some links or download some attachments, pushing them to fill the information of their credit card data. And it happened in many countries in the Levant and in the Gulf that many cardholder data breaches happened in form of the technique of phishing. Same concept of baiting. Baiting is when the attacker offers a freeware or a free downloads. So just you have to enter your credit card information they save for purpose of if you want to renew.
Updating.
Yeah, definitely.
Updating your information.
Yeah.
So you haven't had any calls from an investment company telling you that we are an ex-company
duty-free
dealing with all these stock exchange markets. Would you like to invest with us?
I have not been with experience with investment company. I have been experienced with a duty-free.
A duty-free.
Yeah, they called me. We are from X country, duty-free, and give us your information. You want an OD. We need your information just for confirmation.
So how can people deal with the social engineer attacks that coming almost every single day?
Yeah.
And as I said, we are living in a digital era.
Definitely.
Where mostly the elderly people, young people, girls and boys, adults are dealing with all these technologies. Do you think that the social engineer attacks would be something that easy to handle or deal with for almost all ages?
Mm-hmm. So it's uncontrollable, but honestly, because you cannot control the entire community and increase the entire awareness. But now, as I saw, there is like a lot of initiatives came from governments like United Arab Emirates. They established, for example, the Cybersecurity Council. They have now the desk. Recently, I saw some awareness content on the LinkedIn. They filmed the child who is trying to increase the awareness of the cybersecurity. So, promoting such content that can target even the kids and the child in this community will gradually increase the maturity and the awareness against cyber social engineering. So the initiative should come from government that support the organization. The organization itself should protect themselves. For example, the banks, they should have digital identity protection. Their emails should be digitally signed. They should inform their clients that they don't even need to share their credit card data even with the customer support.
So now you are removing yourself from the agenda and putting it into the government responsibilities to deal with this.
No, we are in the same line of the government.
That's the point.
And accreditation industry, that we can help these, let's say, organization and even the governmental sector to ensure that they are stick to the standards and the.
But Mr. Othman, you are part of it.
Yeah,
we
are there to help them.
You are part of this responsibility.
Definitely.
His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the Vice President of United Arab Emirates and the ruler of government of Dubai, he said during the opening of DISC, he said the private sectors won't be able to work by itself. So we need to work hand by hand, the government sectors as well as the private sectors.
Definitely.
So if we are talking about the initiatives from the government and the wonderful job that the Cybersecurity Council has been doing lately, and as you mentioned, this phenomenal advertisement about those small kids. I guess there are one boy and one girl.
Definitely, yes.
They were talking about the Cybersecurity Council and how to protect yourself from all these malicious attacks, cybersecurity attacks, and to avoid the risk at the beginning of the first day of school.
Correct.
So you as a private sector has more responsibilities because the end user mostly are the governments for you as a private sector, if we can put it this way, at somehow. What are some of your initiatives that can meet the government goals and entities at some point during this stage?
Yeah, so definitely we conduct regularly webinars, workshops for the public community. We offer them a training against some basic standards. We have a specialized also training and workshop for some of the cardholder data protection, especially designed for the financial industries like banks or payment service provider or merchants. We conduct this on regularly basis, and these standards regularly updated. So we have to stick and keep performing this activity and this workshop, even if online, not in person, so we can gather the most population of the community to be attended and be aware of these guidelines.
Good. So somehow I hear that you are working hard to get a new certification.
Yes.
And what it's called?
Yeah, the certification is PSP, Physical Security Professional. So as we are expanding in the cybersecurity space, we do not forget that even physical security is part of this security world. So as a company, we decided to start working on the physical security protection, because sometimes lack of the proper physical setup and physical infrastructure lead to have cyber or counter-terrorism attacks.
So you are trying to get the flowers from each field these days, so you will have the full elements of the security
Inshallah.
itself.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, all the best. All the
Thank
best.
you.
For you and for Ejabi
Thank you.
Infosec.
Thank
you. So we are not reaching at the end, but I guess we are running out of time, Mr. Othman. It's a wonderful being with you here.
Thank you.
What is the recommendation and advices that you would like to give for the audience, as well as the government sectors and also the private sector, since you are dealing with the private sector as well?
Yeah, so again, the ultimate target of any information security program without the proper awareness and the proper maturity of the client, the end client, the employees, the community, cybersecurity and information security will be meaningless. So if the employee, it's himself or herself or theirself, anyone, if they are the weak point, if we have $1 million system, it will be weak. So we are working here and we are targeting to increase the maturity of the employees, have the proper training for them, define easy to use technology for them if they are starter in the business, use multi-factor authentication. If we are talking about an organizational level, use digital identity solution, sign your email, especially if you are a banks or financial institution, sticking beside the payment brands like Visa and MasterCard. We are working to implement their programs for the financial industry and the community. So we ensure that the cardholder data and the PIN number and wherever the card is printed or traveled, it is in secure manner. And recently, the central banks worldwide forces the financial institution to have these certificates, so they ensure the end client's card information is secure in a good manners.
So there are the regulations and policies that
Yes.
everybody has to follow
Yes, definitely.
in terms of avoiding to have penalties
Yeah,
and
definitely.
risk,
Yeah.
but not to be safe and sound from the cybersecurity, you mean?
No. To be honest, the financial institution always afraid of the penalties and the fines they may get from the regulatory sometimes or the payment
Well,
branch
first of all,
sometimes.
as you mentioned, let's be legal and follow the standard and the policy from the central bank.
Yeah.
And then we can go into all these human aspects where you can teach,
Yeah.
share the knowledge.
It's shared
learn.
responsibility, actually, Dr. Hamad. A huge part of the responsibility falls on companies like Ejabi in this situation. So when the clients want to comply, a company like Ejabi must ensure they comply, not just making some okays and checklist like this is compliant, but in fact it's not compliant. But just to make the client satisfied, we check it compliant. We don't do that.
So you do have a long way to go
Yeah, definitely.
and a difficult process to follow.
Definitely.
Mr. Othman Al-Akkad, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Hamad.
It was a pleasure having you, and it's always being something nice to learn such a youth like you, have all this experience, certifications to share with others.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward for the next session, and good luck into the event and the speech that you are going to give for the next Q&A conclave.
Thank you, Dr. Hamad. I'm looking forward also, and looking forward to see you there.
Inshallah. Thank you so
Inshallah.
much.
Thank you.
TechCast, powered by Q&A Markham, unraveling the enigmas of the digital age in every episode. Subscribe to TechCast on YouTube and on your favorite podcast directory, and never miss an update.